Okay, we are about to start our second panel session entitled Information and Communications Technology to Increase City Attractiveness. And I'd like to introduce Gordon Feller, who's our chair for this session. Gordon is with Cisco. He works with cities worldwide to help them become more sustainable, smart, and better connected. He has two bachelor's degree from Columbia University in political science and a master's in international affairs. I have to say that I've attended a conference organized by Gordon about 1 month ago on cities, which was called the Meeting of the Minds, and it was a really, really terrific conference in San Francisco. Please help me welcome Gordon Feller.
My job is to distract you from your other preoccupations for at least another hour or so. Our plan is to break here at 4:45, and then you'll have a sales presentation, a technology pitch session. So before you get into sales mode, we're going to transition you from what we heard in the last session about the use of modeling and simulation technologies and rethinking urban design and urban planning and urban development. And now we want to talk about the hard realities on the ground. The hard realities on the ground, for instance, we're going to hear from the Chief Information Officer of the city of Fresno, California. And before I introduce the group of three from Fresno who are here to present the Fresno example to you and the living lab that essentially Fresno has become, I wanted to step back for a moment and explain why we put this particular session together, particularly at the end of the day before wine and cheese. This is designed to really get down to the ground level. There's been a lot of very useful talk, with San Francisco's innovation zone strategy, and not yet implemented, by the way, but it's an idea which is sprung from the head of Mayor Lee and from Jay Nath, the Chief Innovation Officer. But we want to bring you down to a level of practice. Okay, so we're going to hear from 5 presenters, 3 from Fresno, and then 2 professors, each of whom are more than academics, about the reality on the ground with information and communications technology that is being deployed, that has been purchased, that is being installed, that's being used, and that is having an impact in economic development, having an impact in the quality of life in the city, having an impact in transportation and energy and other arenas that we're going to hear about. And some of those are exotic and interesting technologies, and some of them are very basic information and communications technologies. We're not trying to sell you yet, because that's at 4:45. The selling doesn't happen for at least another hour. So this is not selling mode. This is, what do we say in Silicon Valley? Open your kimono. Open the story up to let you see a little bit from the insider's point of view about what is really going on the ground. All the warts and all the problems. We hope that whether it's from Fresno or our other 2 presenters, you'll have a picture by the end of this session at 4:45 about some of the hard, tough realities in implementation. And then tomorrow we can go through this process of dissecting it all, figuring out how to make it work better. Maybe better, smarter, faster, cheaper. So, Fresno, as some of you know, is in the middle of nowhere. And that's because it's actually between important places. It's between the consumer and the producer. No, it's actually where a lot of our breadbasket agricultural production is, and it's created a lot of wealth over hundreds of years. The amount of wealth that's been created in Fresno, and usually gone elsewhere, unfortunately, doesn't often stay in Fresno, which is a challenge, I think, for the city to figure out how to create the wealth and then not see it go away. And this is one of the strategies to making the city more livable, more attractive, more workable. And so perhaps I'll start by introducing the Chief Information Officer, Carolyn Hogue, who's here, who's going to give you a picture, and then she's going to pass the baton to her colleagues from Fresno. Carolyn.
Thank you, Gordon, and thank you, Kafit, for the opportunity to share our story with all of you today. There we go. City of Fresno is located right in the center of the state of California, as you can see. And the City of Fresno is also right in the center of Fresno County, which is the #1 agricultural producing county in the nation for the past 45 years. There's our city and our very unique city hall right in the center of the slide. And as I mentioned, Fresno County has been the #1 agricultural producing county in the nation, and yet we still suffered an economic downturn recently. During that economic downturn, as the city technology department, we did have to focus on core technology support for the city. But at the same time, we had an opportunity to really go outside of City Hall and start collaborating with our community partners to see where we could share resources. So we began conversations with our educational community, higher ed, our healthcare community. We talked with our agricultural community, but it was conversations with the USDA, United States Department of Agriculture, as part of our Strong Cities, Strong Communities federal partnership program that the City of Fresno has been chosen for, as well as our San Joaquin Valley Regional Broadband Consortium that really launched a wireless broadband project in the rural area. There's a significant digital divide in the Central Valley, and if left unaddressed, our distance learning, our telemedicine, the ability to share data like we've been talking about between rural and the bigger cities, but most importantly, our agricultural industry, which is our biggest industry for the area, will be left behind. Through conversations with the USDA, many conversations now, I learned that the world could go hungry in the upcoming years. Because as the global population is increasing, they're becoming more urbanized, meaning that less rice, wheat products are being consumed, and our produce that we grow in the Central Valley is going to have to double its production in order to continue to feed the world. Here's our San Joaquin Valley, and you can actually see from space how rich and fertile our area is right here. That's the whole San Joaquin Valley. And we feed 1/3 of the world from the San Joaquin Valley. In order to continue to feed the global population that's consuming our products more and more, we're going to have to double our production for our crops in the upcoming years. What makes the San Joaquin Valley unique compared to other areas that focus primarily on 1 or 2 crops, we grow over 350 different types of crops. So it's that variety that really makes us unique and sets us apart. Now, in order to double our production, we're working with telecommunication carriers to bring broadband to that rural area. A big challenge in agriculture is there's only 18% remaining growable land on the entire planet. So as we're talking about smart city, we're also talking in the San Joaquin Valley about smarter farming and making better use of our existing ag land so we can continue to grow crops to feed the world. One of our big challenges is water. Today we only have enough water to supply our current needs. But by putting water sensor technology at the field level, USDA calculated that having that sensor capability could save the equivalent amount of water as Lake Shasta annually. So we're very interested in the water sensor capability. Wireless broadband at the field level also allows for smarter farming. So the GPS use on the tractors allows for better precision farming. You don't even have to have somebody driving the tractor anymore. The GPS and the automation of it actually plows the rows, and instead of the traditional way of the tractor making a big circle, coming back and plowing a row, by smart farming, they can actually pick up several rows of crops. And also using GPS, they can plant the crop so that it follows the sun patterns for optimal growth. And we are finally getting the telecommunication carriers to recognize that their revenue source is no longer limited to the urban core where people are. They're starting to realize that revenue can be made with every row of crop as long as they invest in that rural area. Under our economic development umbrella and working with our community partners, collaborating, that was a key topic today, we're recognizing that our two key strengths in California, which is agriculture and technology, are really starting to turn our economic downturn around and revitalizing our downtown area. We're starting to attract ag research startup companies to the downtown area, and we have vacant buildings, but they're beautifully ready for move-in. And I don't know if anyone's a sports fan, but this is our Grizzlies AAA team, which is the feeder team that just went to the World Series champions for San Francisco. Our team feeds them, so a lot of familiar players came from Fresno. Our underutilized downtown area is ripe for these new startup research companies to relocate to, because the best innovation, the most effective innovation occurs where that innovation can be applied, and there's no better place to apply that innovation, which is only a few miles in our backyard, where we grow our 350 different types of crops. To quote Robert C., I love this quote, he says that just as water ports and railways brought economic prosperity in the early centuries, broadband can bring that same economic prosperity to the 21st century for connectivity and data transportation. And so the City of Fresno really is focused on working together with our rural community partners to be able to connect their data into our downtown corridor, to be able to share data, which we envision revitalizing our underutilized downtown area, creating good high-end tech jobs, and allowing us to continue to feed the world. So now, Robert.